And I didn't even create an intro for this. I didn't write you a poem or anything like that, Paul, even though you really do deserve it. And I just got to say, man, you're the genius. You're the genius of the Compound Media squad. And you come up with everything. And that's why I'm so happy to have you on tonight once again. You haven't been on for like a month or two or whatever. And
any slow-moving hippies gonna join us today?
No. It's just me and you, and let's talk a little shit. Let's talk a little shit, Paul. Here we go.
That's me.
Yo, what up?
Dude, I just got off the Radio Deadly show. We recorded day before, so it's going up tomorrow. So I kept everybody fucking waiting. I'm sorry about that, but the show, it was so weird. We had some guy from Iran on, and we had our friend Arturo, who helps produce the show, was like, "Oh, just talk to my friend Limo real quick." And we're like, "All right." We never met this guy. He goes, he wants 5 minutes. We ended up talking to him for like an hour because he grew up in Iran. He discovered heavy metal music. He was a Christian. He had to smuggle Bibles into the country. And we were just like, what the fuck? And also we have Sabo on. So like all this fucking shit was going on at the same time. And every time I'm like, okay, cool. We're at like an hour. We're going to cut it off. Oh, we're at 2 hours. We're going to cut it off. Oh, okay. We're going to 3 hours now. Holy shit. And it's like, you know, I can't, when a guy's like, I was being persecuted across the Middle East my entire life, and I would have been sentenced to death if I went on a show like this. I could not go, that's great, guys, but Bobby Pickles is fucking waiting for me. I really ought to get going.
No,
but,
dude.
You know I love being on the show. You know I wouldn't miss it, so here we are.
Dude, no way, man. I'm so happy that you're doing so well and you're having those great conversations. You guys went for 3 hours and it was just a natural, awesome conversation, random, with some Iranian dude who's...
We have an hour with Sabo. We have an hour talking about, and I want to talk about this with you, the Danzig comments that have been in the news lately. And we had another hour. Well, the guy was like, oh, put him on for 5 minutes. And we're like, all right. In my head, I'm like, who is this guy? What's he going to say for 5 minutes? Turns out he's a college professor. He's talking about how he had to get the Metallica's Black Album smuggled into the country. And we're like, get the fuck out of here with this fucking guy. And he's just like a buddy of our producer. I was like, dude, this guy deserves his own fucking show. So yeah, and thank you, Bobby Pickle, the architect for the Michael Graves, Paul Bazile current working relationship. Went for a decade of resentment and silence to like, now we don't do anything without the other one, like a gay married couple. It's pretty great.
Well, that's what I like to do. I like bringing people together. See what I do?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, especially Michael was the kind of dude, him and his whole crew back in the day. If you don't know Michael Graves, the singer for the Misfits, he's been on Bobby's show. He back in the day, I remember the vibe of his crew and him. I was like, yeah, I should be buddies with these guys. They were all like my friends. They're all the people that remind me of the people I grew up with. And then, like, you know, we had some weird bullshit heat between us because of the project I was working on, and he was getting a lot of bad info and stuff like that. And that led to us just kind of like sneering at each other for fucking 10 years, and me being like, fuck that guy, he's a fucking asshole. And then it's like, finally, when I get to talk to the fucking guy, like the real Michael who I first met, it's like, oh man, this is great. You're the guy I thought you were at the beginning, before, like, you know, I was getting info, he was getting info of like, this guy fucking hates you. Yeah, Paul Bazile's trying to fuck you over. Oh yeah, no, Michael's trying to fuck you over. And I'm like, so we were just like this for 10 years, man. It was way too long, and there was no reason for it, particularly when you line up all the things that me and Michael have in common and the experiences we've had in our life. There's no reason we shouldn't be friends. Like, and you know, I think a big part of that was you doing that, but also was you bringing us together and kind of like forcing me to jump onto the show with Michael and ambush him. And, you know, within a minute, it was like, we're cool. Like, everything's good. It's all behind us now.
I love the ambushing. It's so great.
I've never been a big fan of the ambushing. I always was like,
I want to ambush you right now, but the person might not jump on. But if they would, it would be so great to ambush you. God, I'm trying. I was trying to ambush you just now. Of course, I can't.
You say the fucking
of course
word
I can't.
loomer, I would never forgive you. You'd
No.
see a very quiet Paul Bazile sitting here just growling, going, "You are the worst fucking piece of shit non-journalist I've ever seen in my life. You're making all conservatives look like shit. You have
Dude,
no original thought. You're
listen,
a plagiarist. You're
listen,
a liar.
listen.
You're a grifter."
Listen, that's all projection. Don't be saying that about me.
You're talking about yourself.
Let me bring.
Hack.
Hold on.
I'm a hack.
Let me show you something. Let me show you a video, and we can start talking about this. This is kind of funny, actually. Hold on. Did you hit it? Did you hit the go live?
Going live.
Know how to do it, right?
Fat fuck.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. I think it's like around the 40 mark or so. 40 mark. Yeah, us. Blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Oh. And we're coming out, and you got a score right there. That was really good.
Looking good. By the way, where did I get my T-shirt, Bobby?
Oh, you got it from proudenzo.com.
And I love that website. I got a bunch of shit from this spot.
You got it now?
Be careful, Bobby.
You got some video now? Oh my God.
You better be careful, Bobby. He might say he came up with Fat Enzo.
He's gonna take with Fat Enzo, exactly.
Here.
Yeah, that's what I hit.
Unlock. There.
He said, I had a cat named Enzo.
Okay. Listen, I am not trying.
I came up with the name Bobby Pickles. We were eating pickles, and then I said, "Bobby, do you like pickles? Name your podcast Bobby Pickles."
Oh my God.
I never get credit for anything.
Look at her horrid.
So I'm not trying to play got you. Listen, I'm not trying to loomer you, okay? I'm not trying to do got you, anything like that. I just want, he said this. I've asked Milo, by the way. I asked Milo about this. He said that's ridiculous. I can't. And he said I don't really feel good that there's something even existing out there on the internet that says this. That somebody would believe this, and then
Somebody would believe what?
would believe about him, the conversion therapy. I got he said
100%
three
I
things.
came up with it, that
Remember,
fucking
he
liar.
he said three things.
Conversion therapy is not the name of anything. Conversion therapy is a tactic that has existed for generations, long before he probably was ever even alive. So to say that he created it is disingenuous, because conversion therapy isn't the name of Milo's next thing. Conversion therapy is a form of therapy. Right? I mean, I just don't understand. It's just not.
It was his.
Intellectually honest.
It was apparently his idea to do that.
Idiotic.
Yeah. No, he never did. He never came up with Loomer.
No.
It was on the record.
I did come up with
Paul
Loomer.
Bazile
I
never came up with
fucking
Loomer.
No.
He
filmed one video for me one time.
Oh, shut up. I did
sucked.
3, you cunt.
And I never used
you
them
were
again.
begging me for more.
And there's some other stuff too. And I'm a lady. I'm kind.
Oh my god.
So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be mean.
Yeah.
But
wasted garbage.
I feel like
You're a
I am
waste
being
of
wrongfully
garbage.
attacked because,
you don't belong where
I'm
garbage
not
is,
interested
'cause
in
it's too
him,
good.
and I never was. So
Oh my god.
that's all I'm gonna say.
he comes on to
But I'm not,
fuck.
I'm not gonna be mean because I'm not a girl.
Oh,
But
fuck off, you cunt! You made
there's
your whole
some
bones being like, I'm
underlying
the
hatred
meanest
there
bitch
for
ever.
other reasons, and I just
Some people
really
can't
suck
handle
my
it.
fucking
A New
balls,
York
you
guinea
fucking
scorned.
twat.
God. Anyway,
Oh,
I'm
look
way
sorry.
too many of them.
He's not the only one.
A New York guinea scorned. Yeah.
Anyway, I disagree. I humbly disagree. I feel that she might have some misinformation, and I respectfully disagree with the cunt.
Paul, it's Cinco de Mayo. I expect you to be out luring an 18-year-old into your bed somehow.
Oh,
You like-
unfortunately, my best efforts have failed.
No,
I don't know. What do you want me to say about that? Fucking Loomered, I absolutely came up with. And I have people who were around me when I came up with it, and I can tell you the time, the place, and the fucking day I came up with it. One. Now, I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of it. He made one video for me. Yeah, go to Rebel, because all the videos on Rebel, or at least 3 videos on Rebel, were videos I made for her. Then I fucking stopped taking her calls after, having to interact with this demon bitch for fucking, 6 weeks?
Paul, don't you ever want to put the brakes on and just, do you really have to say all of that stuff? Or is it really, you don't care at all that what you say about Loomer?
What's going to happen?
No,
am I not going to have a working relationship with Laura Loomer? Oh, I've been avoiding that for fucking 4 years. I've been avoiding being in the same place at the same time because she's so gross. She's so gross. And I've always said that, well, I didn't say it first. This is not an original quote, but I've always heard and liked the quote that a traitor is worse than an enemy. And when you have somebody who is basically doing everything the fucking left does, but yelling, yay, Trump at the end, and plus, give me money, it's always give me money. Everything she needs is always like, can you just give me money? And it's like, here's the thing. I like people who create things. I like people who have ideas. I like people who want to do the next thing, not just people who say, I am who I am, so can everyone donate? Oh, by the way, having a total, using the whole victim complex thing. I was banned from Twitter. I was banned from Instagram. It's like, yeah, so was I. Fuck off. So was everyone I know. She wasn't the first to be banned. She wasn't the most unjustifiably to be banned. And when she had a fucking Twitter account and Instagram and Facebook and everything, she begged. She was like, I dare you motherfuckers to kick me off. And then she gets kicked off. How could they do this to me? Why, I'm just being a journalist. And I did come up with conversion therapy. Milo denying it is actually funny because I brought that up to him too. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for giving me credit for this idea. And he was like laughing at me, going, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, fuck off, Milo. And but between me and Milo, it's all fucking fun. Whatever. He's my boy. It is what it is.
So do you believe Milo is just using this as, just recreating himself in this kind of satirical way? It's not true? Or do you think that he's honestly doing this conversion therapy thing?
Bro, as a fan of pro wrestling, I'm not going to give up the griff. I'm not going to break kayfabe. Milo is straight. He's straight as a board. He unsucked all those dicks. He fucking, I saw him outside building a deck with a 6-pack of Coors. He is straight as you could get. I absolutely think you should go ahead. Every gay guy in the country should join Milo's. I don't know. He's not calling it conversion therapy, but that was the idea I pitched to him at one point, and he wrote it down. I said, you should do a thing called conversion therapy where you basically a red pill thing and this and that. And he's like, oh, great. He took it to the next step, turned it into what he, made it Milo, which good for him. And it's going to be awesome. So, that part isn't my idea. And I know it's not called conversion therapy, you fucking nitpicky little twat. She is like literally the worst human being I've ever met, and I've dealt with musicians my whole life. Think about that. Like, I've dealt with divas. I've dealt with Milo, who's an absolute diva. But I have love for the guy. I have love for like most of the people because I accept like, okay, this one is who they are. They're not presenting themselves as anything different than what they are, which I always respect. In the case of Loomer, she presents herself one way when she's really only interested in self-promotion. And we all need to self-promote, but some of us give a little something. We give something. And yes, in fact, I came up with Loomer. I don't know who the other guy was who was like, he says he came up with Loomer. I did, motherfucker. I did. And, you know, what do you want me to say? We did it outside the Fearless Girl thing where I was breaking her balls and joking, and she didn't get the joke. Where I was basically, you've been punked. I said, oh, I guess they've been Loomered. And it was the first time I ever saw her smile, because she has never told a joke in her life. She's never had a genuine smile on her face ever. And she did like a little rat, like, Loomered, I like that. You've been Loomered. I'm going to use that. And I went, okay, good. I didn't know what I unleashed on the world on that day. By the way, I also named the show Get Off My Lawn, Get Off My Lawn. So
wow.
Throw that in my fucking credits too.
So hold on. Paul Bazile is doubling down on all of this, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did it. I have people who are around me. It's not even like a mystery of fucking, you know, when did you come up with Loomered? On the day we filmed the Fearless Girl thing, right after that stunt, I was going to my car with her, and I was astounded by how awful that went and how terrible it looked and how terrible I looked for being associated with it. And I went, well, because I couldn't say journalism. That wasn't going to a fucking statue and heckling a crowd of tourists and screaming, "You're all liberals! Why are you?" That's not journalism. That's a stunt. So you could go, oh, hold on. Let me beg everyone I know with a verified Twitter account to retweet me. Hold on 1 second, and bury yourself in your fucking phone and do that. So, okay. And again, self-promotion, great. I'm not blaming anyone for doing that, but give a little something to people.
I disagree with a lot of the things that you're saying. So, you know, I mean, you're
wrong. You're allowed to be wrong.
No. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to Loomer you either or whatever, but I'm just trying to do some journalism here too. Now what happened with, you know, this being scorned, a guinea scorned? Were you scorned? Did you make some advances to Loomer? Were you trying to?
No! My disgust for Loomer is well documented. Before I was working with her, when I was working with her, and definitely after I was working with her when she got that fucking Joker surgery all over the goddamn place. She is one of the most unattractive, inside and out humans I've ever seen.
What are you talking about? What Joker?
Oh, yeah, I'm crazy. Shut up.
What Joker?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Nope.
I don't.
It's okay. You don't have to break kayfabe either, my friend.
What are you talking about, though? What are you talking about?
You don't have to break kayfabe in front of me. No, what do you mean about you disagreeing?
No, what is that though? She had a surgery of some kind or something.
Oh, did she? Oh, I haven't noticed that her face looks like Anthony Hopkins' puppet from Magic.
That's harsh, dude.
Is it though, when you purposely fucking pay a human being to make your face look like the kid from The Mask? Am I being fucking harsh? You did it, motherfucker. You could have had a normal face, but you decided to get crazy cheek implants and your face stretched and 50 nose jobs and big fucking lip injections. And by the way, I'm not against plastic surgery, but the only good plastic surgery it's like CGI. The only good CGI is when you can't tell it's CGI. The only good plastic surgery is when you can't tell it's plastic surgery. It's almost like she specifically was like, I want everyone to know that I went and paid a lot of money to get this. And then got the saw fucking cheeks and got all that shit going on. And when she says a guinea scorned, if the implication is there was any kind of romantic involvement or interest in her on my end, that is literally the worst thing I have ever been accused of. Call me a Nazi over that. call me anything you want, but Jesus Christ. And she knows it.
Okay,
too.
I was the one who said that. I said that.
Whoever. It's just
But
not.
she did, whatever. Anyway, listen, you know what? Let's move on.
No!
I want to
we're
talk
not
about
moving on.
No. I want to talk about why listen, you're a genius. You should be always, around. Why does everybody keep you around? They keep you around because you come up with these things all the time? You come up with these
I don't know. Well, I assume I must be useful to people on a certain level because certain people always tend to, go, hey, we want you on the team. So it's cool. And by the way, part of being part of the team at certain times is not being recognized. And I understand that, particularly if you're getting paid. So if I'm doing something like, helping Milo write a monologue for Friday Nights All Right. Or if I'm doing something like, contributing to Gavin's website or doing stuff behind the scenes for Michael Graves or from when I worked with Mike Hideous, whoever. It is what it is. You want that person to get built up and get credit. That's the point of being kind of more of a behind the scenes guy. And I've done both. I've been in front of the camera. I've been behind the scenes. And, one of the things Milo says, and he could be right. He goes, the reason why the rocket has never really been put on your back is because you don't commit to one or the other. Sometimes you're like, I'll just work for so-and-so. Other times you're like, I'll do my thing and be a personality. He could be right. That sounds about accurate. But I would assume I'm pretty fucking useful to somebody if they're not, telling me to get the fuck out of their house after, the first week of me sitting there going, I don't know what I do. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Ask Loomer why she wanted me to work for her so fucking bad. And ripped me off in the process, by the way. And like she rips everybody off who works for her, who then goes, hey, don't you owe me money? Don't you owe me? Didn't you say you were going to pay me this and didn't pay me this? And what can we do about that? And then this person, this anti-censorship advocate, will then advocate to have them scrub their fucking social media, tell people, you better take that off your social media, does that shit all the time. You could say whatever you want about me, and people do. I have never once been like, get that off your Instagram about me. Get that off your Twitter. Don't delete that from the comments. I've never done that one fucking time because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. And it's like, I always feel like, hey, if people are talking about me, I must have struck a chord. Go ahead, talk about me. But there's other people who want to control the narrative, and most of them are on the left. And I resent that, and I resent those people. Some of them are on the right, and one of them's name is Laura Loomer.
Okay, let's get back to you being a genius. Now, the name of the title is, episode 183, Paul Bazile. Yeah. The man is a fucking genius. Let me put that back on the screen, please. I will do this. Here it is.
I'm like Monet, only better.
Come on. There we go.
I paint pictures with insults.
I mean,
look how handsome.
Look at that graphic. I put that together in 2 seconds. How is that, though? Look at that.
That's actually really fucking great because the only way I could look even better is if there's two of me.
Yeah.
So the fact that we doubled me up, I think, is a brilliant fucking move.
I mean, I honestly, okay, so I need somebody like you in my corner, man. Would you help me write some shit on my website or something like that? Or, put together
Sure, what
something?
do you need?
How long have you been doing this, behind the scenes kind of thing? How long have you been helping others behind the scenes?
It depends on what arena you're talking about. I mean, I was taking classes for film in my high school when I was 14. And there may have even been a class when I was 13 where I was doing, where not only would I write stuff, but I would help other people put when they'd go, I don't have an idea for a story, because you're in a class, you're not necessarily wanting a career in film or something. I would go, okay, well, do something like this and this and this. And if you kick around enough ideas with people, you might come up with one or two good ones. Then I did mostly film stuff. And I decided in high school, I'm like, I want to be a director. I want to be the guy who gets to put the vision together. I like that. Then when I got out of film school later on, I got into documentary stuff through my documentary Living the American Nightmare, which has one of the singers from the Misfits in it and a lot of other people in it. And that's when I realized, like, you know what I like about this? It's real. I don't have to write a script. All I have to do is ask people questions and then put the story, like basically Dr. Frankenstein, the story together. And that's a movie. And I like that. And I like that a lot better than I notice, like, when people sit down and try and write a script about something rather than do like a journalistic piece about something. If you don't have like really amazing actors, like if Christopher Walken isn't going to be in your fucking movie, whoever you hired isn't going to pull it off the same way. And you could get away with a lot of stuff with a documentary and telling a story about, you know, for example, my story is basically about having a dream and not quite making it. That was what American Nightmare was about. Now, I could write a movie about a guy who's sitting there, he's playing the guitar, he's a painter, and no one wants to buy his paintings, and, you know, but he's this brilliant painter. But why do that when these people exist and I could talk to them? So that made me go, okay, I'm going to look more into journalism. And I started writing about music and writing about bands and interviewing more and more people for other projects and short interview projects. And then when the Trump thing happened, I wrote for a music magazine called Sugar Buzz, where, and this was like the week Trump announced, not the week, but shortly after Trump announced that he was going to do his thing, I wrote an article called Why Donald Trump is the most punk rock, would make the most punk rock president of all time, something like that. And I made the case for why everything he was saying was resonating with me and could resonate with anyone who was part of the counterculture thing, which is something I definitely saw myself as and still see myself as. And then from there, do you know the podcast Hardcore History?
Mm-hmm. Dan Carlin?
Yeah. So there's an episode where he talks about the Munster Rebellion. And he talks about there's only really one primary source. And the guy, he wrote about it because he said the reason he wrote about what happened was because no one else did. And he realized that this is the most interesting thing that he personally saw in his lifetime and should be documented. I took the same tact with Donald Trump getting elected because before the election, I went, whether he gets in or not, this politician is the most unique politician I've ever seen in my lifetime. And no one's talking about him in the context of the people who like him. They're all, you know, now we have a lot of commentators and stuff, but it's still not as widely reported. But I said, you know, I want to give that perspective and kind of the perspective from the counterculture and the punk rocker and the alternative guy why Donald Trump fits into our world too. And why not just Trump, but his point of view, his idea of loving your country, putting your country first and you know, the low taxes and max freedom, minimal government. Like, why is that something we should all be striving for? And I thought, I need to start documenting this because nobody else is going to do it. And I can't believe we're still fucking talking about it to this day. Like, I can't believe it's spiraled to the point where Antifa is still a thing. I thought that was going to be like a weekend. I was like, oh, fuck, these guys are going to get shut down. They're all going to get arrested, tried as fucking terrorists, and we'll never hear from them again. I never thought in my life there'd be a full year where pretty much every day there's a new riot that we got to talk about.
Yeah. You know,
there's a pig.
What happened? What did you just say?
What? There's a pig.
So
fame whore, starfucker, starfucker, fame whore, pig.
Okay, listen, stop.
Oh yeah, no, I went too far.
Calm yourself down, for Christ's sakes, man.
I'm all amped up. I just got off Radio Deadly. I've had like 3 espressos.
What I was about to ask you goes right along with this. When are you going to just have your own show? Okay. I mean, how long have you taken the back seat to, a lot of these people and given a lot of ideas away and maybe not having gotten the, the respect that you deserve? Why not just start your own show? You know, you have a lot to say. Listen to you going on monologues for like 10 minutes on any particular subject.
I'm the anti-hippie guy who came on the show yesterday. I talk too fast. He talks too slow. Last time I was on. That's an interesting question, man. And I think it just comes down to I'm a different kind of animal in certain ways. If you told me that I could have a solid job expressing myself and I never had to be on camera, never had to be on social media or whatever, I'd be like, this is fucking great. If I could sit in my room and write books, I would be like, this is phenomenal. Like, let me just do this all day, give my point of view. No one ever has to see my fucking face. I don't have to promote it. But the reality is, in this day and age, unless you're in front of the camera, no one knows who the fuck you are or gives a shit and figures you must be nobody. And it's a sad truth because you can't just be, like a Hunter S. Thompson type character. Guys I admire who were like that. You can't be, some guy who doesn't, go out and have a podcast and go out. And I mean, every time I try to do it, I give it what I got, but at the same time, building from square one could be really disheartening. And when you have all your social media wiped, you can't share what you're doing immediately where 20,000 people could see it because now you're building everything at the same time. It's really frustrating. And for me, I mean, what I'm doing right now is I'm producing / kind of sidekicking on Michael Graves' show. I think it's a perfect fit for me because we could talk politics when we want, but we could also talk music. We could also talk art. And the whole thing doesn't rely on just me doing something, which is the other thing I've experienced through my whole career, where it's like, okay, I want to make a movie. The problem with making a movie is other people have to show up to make that movie.
My bad. Hey, Paul, so you're like a co-host on that show?
Sort of. Like, I'm on the show every week, so I'm really a producer. Like, I'll book guests and I, go, hey, we should put this first and handle this and talk about these 4 things and here are the links. But then he has me and the other co-host, Arturo, who's like his manager, on pretty much every week. And we will go over whatever we're going over and give our input. So it is what it is. I like it because if I don't show up, it's not like I'm breaking anyone's fucking heart. Michael is still the focus of the show, which is good because that's people want tune in to hear what he has to say. And he's brilliant at what he does. Like, he's a rare guy. He's a rock star who actually has balls and opinions of his own and isn't afraid to fucking say it, where everybody else is paranoid they're not going to get the next record deal or something. Michael comes right out and blurts out shit that we all know is true, but if you say it out loud, people shun you from society, like with the Danzig thing that recently happened, and the John Lydon thing, and John Joseph recently, and who was it? Roger Daltrey from The Who. Like, they all have come out and basically went, I'm kind of sad about the whole cancel culture thing. I don't like the political correctness. It's stopping creativity. It's stopping people from growing. It's bad for music. It's bad for art. It's bad for everything. And everyone knows that. Like, I don't know anybody who's like, nah, cancel culture is making our movies better. Or, cancel culture is making bands now rock even harder than back in the day. Everyone knows that it's fucking up everything. The problem is who's going to do something about it, which is why when I see a Roger Daltrey or a Glenn Danzig, and I'm fortunate enough, thanks to you, to be now associated with a guy like Michael Graves, who actually has the balls enough to do this, I think that that's what we need to really change things and move it forward. We have plenty of great pundits and talking heads and people like that who could just tell you, about politics all day. But when he's the guy who wrote fucking Earth AD, he's the guy who wrote Danzig 1, Danzig 2, Danzig 3. He's the guy who fucking mastermind behind the band Sam Hain. He's a brilliant, legendary artist. Never talked about politics his whole career. And for this motherfucker, Glenn Danzig, I'll tell you this much, has no chill. He does not give a fuck. He's beyond it. He's older. And now at this point, he's like, fuck you, don't buy my album. This is what I think about woke people, which to me is exactly what we need.
Yeah. So I'm just on the Revolver website. It says Glenn Danzig, Misfits couldn't happen today due to cancel culture. You could never have the punk explosion nowadays because of woke bullshit. And it was in a recent Rolling Stones article which mostly focuses on his new horror Western flick Death Rider and the House of Vampires. The Misfits frontman revealed that he doesn't think controversial punk bands such as his own would be able to flourish today because of woke bullshit. And anyway, this is the Rolling Stone article. See?
Yeah. Glenn, Glenn goes balls out, man. Glenn has never been somebody to hold back. So he's one of those people, if you ask him a question, you'll get a fucking answer. And I don't know what opinion they thought Glenn was going to have. His whole career has been built on, saying the things that you thought no one was allowed to say. And not necessarily politically, but Loudwire, we were talking about this on the show. Loudwire had an article written by what I believe was a 12-year-old girl. And she wrote something along the lines of like, well, do we really need to have songs about raping your mother and killing babies and blah, blah, blah? Because famously, I got something to say. I killed her baby today and it didn't matter much to me as long as it's dead. Like, wow, that's a shocking lyric. And in 1978, 79, when he wrote it, I'm sure that people went, what the fuck? And the first time I heard it in the 90s, I was like, can you sing that? Are you allowed to put that on now? That's what punk rock is. Can you make that? Can you write a song called Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue? Can you write a song like that? Like, are you allowed? Isn't he going to get in trouble? And the fact is, no, you don't. And people are going to go, fuck you, and don't buy the album. But the people who want to buy the album will check it out. It's called capitalism. Glenn is well aware of it. That's why Glenn is a millionaire now and other people aren't, because he knows how to he knew how to leverage controversy and it wasn't, I'm not saying he was being insincere. I'm saying that his songs, some of them, are like a horror movie. And nobody ever gets mad at Dawn of the Dead because they fucking cut a guy's head off. If you saw a guy's head get cut off in real life, you would be horrified. You would say, no, what the fuck? Oh my God, I'm traumatized. I might need a therapist and some fucking antidepressants. If you saw guys get decapitated in front of you. But in a zombie movie, you could do that 5-6 times and watch it and be entertained by it. Glenn is the same way. Hip hop is the same way. Nobody goes after hip hop anymore. They used to. They used to say, why do they have to say this and why do they have to say that? But it's like the reason why they're saying the things that you think shouldn't be said is the reason why they are the person they are. That's the reason why they're an artist. It's why we admire them. And the crazy thing is today, a guy like Pete Peters, Pete, yeah?
Pete Peters? Yeah. Yeah. Proud Boy,
a rapper.
Right?
Yeah, Proud Boy, a rapper who raps about fuck Antifa and how disgusting the left is. That is more controversial than screaming wet ass pussy all fucking day. Because now people listen to wet ass pussy in the supermarket and they're like, oh yeah, okay, wet ass pussy. That's what rappers say. But what rappers don't say is don't fucking vote for the people who've been keeping you down. Antifa is bullshit. Like, that's something you don't hear, which is why we need people like that.
Hey, Paul, what about this? You were bringing up rap. I wanted to show you this Lil Nas X video that came out with Satan fucking Lil Nas X in the ass. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, I mean, I just wanted to bring that up and play devil's advocate because I think music is pretty insane still in some respects, right?
Well, in that respect, yeah, I think he was going for something really shocking, obviously. I think it worked. I think people talked about it. I don't give 2 squirts of piss for Lil Nas X, so no matter what he writes, for the most part, I don't think I would be listening to it. So when I heard about, like, he has blood in his sneakers and shit like that, I was laughing about that, to be honest, because back in the day, my ex-girlfriend cut herself and put blood in a vial, and I used to wear it around my neck. Like, I didn't, like that was just, look how badass we are. Like, I have her blood on my fucking neck. And So I wasn't shocked by that. I just, he should be able to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I'm not going to interfere with him. But if I don't like it, and if I think it's, the only thing that I think is really terrible is, I think, didn't he say that he was trying to reach kids?
I don't know.
I think something he said was like, my audience is mostly kids. I'm trying to reach kids. That's not cool. Like, to be like, I want to shove sex and violence specifically in a child's face, I think is really fucked up. I don't agree with that, but he should be able to release the album, right? And by the way, the only people who were really outraged by that were the right. And it was mostly Christians on the right who were like, oh my God, it's satanic imagery. It's like, I don't know, man. Slayer has a lot of satanic imagery. Tom Araya is the biggest Catholic walk in the fucking face of the earth. That doesn't bother me. Like, because I understand what it is. It's the guy, when he goes backstage, is not like holding up a fucking human skull going, Kalima, Kalima. Like, he's Tom Araya. He's just some dude, and he's putting on a performance. I know the difference, unlike some people who might try to grab headlines by heckling plays because they don't like the content of it. I personally know the difference between make-believe and reality. And make-believe and words don't hurt you. They don't hurt people. And if you're offended, you're allowed to be offended. You're allowed to say, I'm a Christian. I'm not going to buy this guy's album. I'm offended by it. But getting him canceled is another animal. And I mean, I probably don't agree with a single fucking thing Lil Nas X has to say. But I'm also not going to fight to get him canceled. And if they tried to cancel him, I would say it's bullshit. And I know they pulled his sneakers and like, I don't know,
I'm just saying, what Danzig was saying. What do punk rock wouldn't happen today.
Right.
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe we need some of that. That's what Trump was,
Yeah. I agree.
That's what Trump was.
What Pete Peters is doing right now.
Pete, exactly. Yeah. Back to your point. You're back to your point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like I was saying, we had Sabo on the show. Mm-hmm. You can watch it tomorrow on censored.tv. Sabo, by doing awesome Banksy, Shepard Fairey-like art, but doing it specifically to lampoon the left, is right now in 2021. I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but right now it's the last taboo. Right now, that is art because it actually confronts people and scares people. And people go, you can't do it. Now, keep in mind, in the early 90s, have you ever heard of an art exhibit called Piss Christ? I forget the guy's name, but there was an artist. He did a thing called Piss Christ where he took a crucifix and put it in like a glass jar full of piss. That was his whole project. And it got protested. People didn't like it. Christians didn't like it. I don't blame them. They're not supposed to like it. You're allowed to not like something. You're allowed to say, fuck that guy. I don't think it should have been banned, but back in the day, that was shocking. Now, I've been to art exhibits. They always do like some anti-Christian fucking thing because they think they're being dangerous by being like somebody from 30 years ago. But we've moved on. We're used to Piss Christ. We're used to people talking shit about Jesus and stuff like that. I'm not going to do it because I have no interest in shutting down Christianity. And a lot of Christians I know are the best people I know. Why the fuck, would I want to fuck with those people? Doesn't mean I agree with everything they say. Absolutely not. But I'm also not going to make a mural about it and think I'm fucking edgy, because none of these people, they all think they're being edgy, but what they're really doing is doing something that's been done before. Somebody else saw the bullshit, and now they're sitting back and going, all right, he went through it. Now the art community has accepted it. So I'm going to do my Piss Christ now. And I think that's fucking, it's so lame to think that you're like, oh, that's right, I've really pissed off the Catholic Church today. It's like, Catholic Church doesn't know you motherfuckers exist because there's so many of you. But if you do something about Ted Cruz and say he's a great guy or whatever, and put up a poster at a bus stop the way Sabo does, people get fucking, they flip the fuck out over it. To me, that art is supposed to invoke some kind of reaction, whether it's sexuality, whether it's beauty, whether you're in awe if somebody paints the Grand Canyon and you're like, I can't believe it. Wow, that he got every detail in there. It's supposed to confront you. It's supposed to challenge you with something and invoke a feeling in you. And there's too many people that just barf something onto a piece of paper and go, oh yeah, I'm an artist too. Now Sabo is hitting people over the head with a sledgehammer because he's going, no, look, here is fucking Joe Biden dressed like Chairman Mao. Discuss. Like, that is something that people, you can make 100 Trump is Hitler fucking things. Who gives a shit? Like, 100 people fucking did it. But if you say the other person is Mao, or the other person's Hitler, or the other person's whatever, all of a sudden now you get a bunch of people ripping their hair out going, oh my God, we have to stop them. I think that is interesting.
It is.
Because it also shows you who's in charge. Like the people who are claiming to be the oppressed people, we're the left, we represent the oppressed. Well, you're so oppressed. How come everyone's afraid to lampoon you in public and have a different opinion? And listen, what, you think Glenn Danzig got this opinion overnight? He's always fucking thought this shit. Or for most of his adulthood, I would assume. Like, I've met the guy. He's a great dude. Like, he says what the fuck he thinks. And matter of fact, I remember in like 2009, he went on CNN and bashed Obama, and they cut away from him immediately. And I saw the twinkle in his eye when they said something about something, and his response was, yeah, kind of like our president right now, right? And they like all went, okay. If he did that about Trump, do you think they'd cut away? But here you have, in the Obama era, a punk rocker saying something on TV that was too controversial, and he didn't swear, and he didn't fucking, go, praise Satan, or any crazy thing like that. The thing that made them cut away was he said something negative in a negative tone about Barack Obama, and they freaked the fuck out and cut the interview.
Well,
so
Paul,
I've known that he was conservative.
Paul, you can have your own podcast and just talk to yourself, kind of like what's his face? What is it? Bill
Schizophrenic?
Yeah, Bill Burr. You kind of like do the Bill Burr podcast, probably.
That's the thing though, man. It's like the only reason why I like to pop up on camera, and keep in mind, man, I love talking with you. If for no other reason, you just keep in touch with people. And if doing your show is the mission that we have to accomplish, to just like, for me to have a human conversation with like a good dude that I know, then so be it, But the only reason I like doing stuff to be on camera is sort of to be like, hey, everyone, my face is out there. I'm self-promoting, blah, blah, blah. But because I've never really made that big push, because at the end of the day, I really do like my privacy. I really do. Like, I don't want to, like, and people have accused me of fucking everything from like, you're looking to be famous. And it's just like, I don't know. I need attention on whatever I'm doing, because if I write an article and nobody knows who I am, great. What am I going to do? Put it under my fucking pillow? Like, oh, those are some brilliant words I wrote. Let me just stuff that in the fucking file. Like, who cares? Like, you have to make people care. And the only way to do that these days is by letting people get to know you and see you a little bit. So that's why I do what I do. Doing something, and I've tried doing like live streams from time to time, and you've seen them. They become more inconsistent because it's literally like, dude, it's like I'm saying good shit and I'm building from square one. Oh, good. I got 200 views. You know what that means? It means nobody fucking heard me. I may as well yelled up on my fucking house. Like, it is what it is. And back in the day, 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't have had that problem because I had a nice, big, well-built, well-manicured platform filled with a diverse audience, which people were going to like it, people were going to hate it. Now I'm rebuilding my platform. Matter of fact, if you're watching, go check out BAZILE PAWL or Paul Bazile Quotes on Twitter, because I've been, dabbling with that back on Twitter. I've been doing an all right job. In like 2 weeks time now, I have like 1,000 people on my thing. So I think that people have told me that's pretty good. I'm like, great. Okay. I'm getting attention somehow, but that's why you get attention. That's the reason. like there's certain people, Loomer, that the only reason why they want to do what they do is to be famous so they could go, look at me. Oh, my name's in the paper. They love reading their own name and shit. I've never really given a shit. I wanted to get whatever I wanted to say off my chest. I wanted to get the message out there. And you can't get it out there unless you build a like if you're not on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or Parler, actually, because now Parler is actually a decent alternative.
Yeah, but Parler's not even on right now, dude. That's the problem.
That's the thing.
I don't even know what's going on. It's fucking down.
That's the thing. And believe me, everyone's feeling it. Everyone in like the conservative world is feeling it because it's like, okay, you wanted us to have our own platform? Great, we'll have it. And then they're like, they should be shut down from that platform. And then they celebrate and go, yeah, we did it. We disagree with them. And we shut their whole website down. It's like, good for you, motherfucker. Good for you. Like, why would you do that? I wouldn't do that to them. I wouldn't be like, let's shut Vox down. If it got shut down, I'd laugh my ass off just because they've tried to actively shut enough people down where if they get a taste of their own medicine, it's kind of funny. But if they left everybody the fuck alone, I wouldn't give a shit if somebody out there was talking commie shit. I would just say better shit on my thing. But that's, like I said, that's the problem is
the
I
cure
value
for
my privacy. I truly don't care about fame. I truly am not, like, even though, like I said, every time I do anything, if I do anything that gets this much attention, people are like, you're just looking for fame. And I've done plenty of stuff that's like gotten viral or blown up or whatever. But I don't care. And when it comes to money, I do care about money. But if I was just in something for the money, I'd be a music writer at fucking Loudwire right now, and I would never mention politics ever my entire life. Like, there's plenty of things you could do for money,
Absolutely.
And cyber panhandling is not one of them. So, and I resent that. Like, I resent anyone who just begs for money online. So people have told me you should start a Patreon, you should do that. And it's like, what? Like, start a GoFundMe. Tell people, like, you want to travel around the country. It's like, suck my fucking dick. Like, it's not everybody's responsibility because I'm just so great to fucking pay all my bills.
I wish I had that. Oh my God, that would be so fucking awesome. Wow. Please give me that. Please give me that. Give me money. Oh my God. I'll just make shirts that I want to make. I won't have to make shirts for any businesses or anything like that. I'll just be an artist making my own shirts. That would be great.
My house got broken into a few years ago, and this guy was like hounding me, like, you should.
And I'll do the podcast. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I told him, like, I'm like, why? Like, why would I beg for money because my house got broken into? And he's like, oh, trust me, it'll work. People will feel bad for you. I'm like, I'm not a victim. Like, and I'm not going to play victim and badass at the same time. I resent that shit of like, yeah, I'm the toughest motherfucker. Everyone's scared of me. And then the second somebody takes a shot at me, go, oh my God, please, everyone give me money. They're attacking me. It's like, that's not who I am. I'm not a victim. So for me, it's like, if I had enough interest in something or a big enough audience where people were like, we'll all tune into your stream every time, I would do it just because I feel like it would be a productive way to communicate, which is what I like to do. Before anything else, I'm a storyteller. So I like to communicate my point. Let me tell you the story of the time Antifa surrounded my fucking car and I had to hop a curb with fucking Martina Marcota in the passenger seat. That's a great fucking story. I want to tell that. What's the best way to tell it? Well, I could write it, I could film it, or I could just say it. So I have to figure out the platform that's best to get that across, and everything else. If people want to buy a t-shirt from me because of that, it's all a nice little side effect,
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
So I'm not against doing like a regular podcast. It's just a matter of, can I actually get the information I'm trying to get out?
I'm just saying, listen. You're like a Bill Burr, okay, who just sit here and really just talk to yourself probably. You really could. You probably could. And
I like having your smiling face on the other side to talk to.
But the whole thing is the whole hilarious, interesting, hypocritical, ironic thing is that you're like the you're like the right hand man guy of all these different people, and that's where you're at, and you're happy to be there, and they keep you in that spot. There must be something about you and how you are and stuff. You're just like, oh man, I don't want this guy to get anywhere else. He needs to just be here, just give me ideas all day. Just like a factory of creative ideas.
If more people will listen to Michael Graves, because Michael Graves is famous, he's talented beyond anything I could do. Like, I can't do music the way he does. And because of all those gifts that he has, people listen to him. And he's telling the story that I want to tell, then isn't my mission accomplished? Like, if he's telling the story of I'm against cancel culture, right? Like, if I go out tomorrow and say, they deleted my fucking Instagram, who cares? Why? Because I don't have an Instagram. I'm Paul Bazile. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not trying to be a celebrity. So if people go, if I go, everybody, they deleted my... Matter of fact, when they deleted my Facebook, I remember Gavin called me that day and said, how are you doing? And I went, well, not too good. I think I just got removed from Facebook. And literally, this was all the sympathy I got from Gavin. He went, poor guy. Anyway, this is what I have to... And I just was like, okay, now somebody else... Roger Stone gets removed from fucking Facebook or whoever. He has his following. He's famous. So it becomes a Greek tragedy. Oh, he lost his Facebook. Oh my God. And it's like, okay, well, and that is, it does suck. It is not fair, but people don't give a shit. And by the way, I'm not going to do anything absurd like chain myself to Twitter over losing my fucking social media, because that would make me a fucking media whore, accomplishing nothing, hysteric, who's just going, look at me, I'm not the look at me guy. Like, at the end of the day, and I have some kind of a personality, I guess, that people like to watch when I go on shows, because normally when I go on like shows like yours or Weaponized Opinions, which I love, or whatever, people go, we want you back. That was great. And I go, yeah, sure, I'll come back. But I mean, you've spoken to me in real life too, Bobby. Am I a different fucking guy?
No. So instead of having this conversation over the phone,
right?
Because you'd be saying all the same shit.
Yes, and not to mention, if it helps you out and helps out the story of who are we, and this is the story we're telling today, by the way, because as a director and somebody who's been invested in storytelling for all my life. What story are me and Bobby Pickle telling today? The story we're telling today is, look at these two Italian fucking morons. And all the people that hate us and all the people that like us could tune in to your channel anytime they want. And they could go, are these really the evil Gestapo people that... Like, are these the sinister fucking devil people that we've made them out to be? It's like, of course not, because they could see that you're a fucking normal dude. They could see me, and nothing I've said so far.
Oh my God, I want to play that. Actually, that fucking Vice video.
Which one?
Didn't I send it to? Yeah. Hold on. This one, new Vice video about the Proud Boys.
A recent one?
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw it. Oh, no, yes, I think you did send it to me. I did see this. Go on.
Stupid ass. What's up with my internet, man? Damn.
First of all, who are the Proud Boys?
The Proud Boys connection is certainly concerning.
Time to be a Proud Boy.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
What would it take? Brawling Proud Boys? Well, one of the oldest historically black churches in America may be about to find out with a lawsuit that could crack open their financial secrets.
Oh, yeah. This guy is just a fucking toolbox.
Yeah, he is. What a total piece of shit he is.
He's a piece of shit, and he thinks
He's
he's
a piece
being
of
like
shit.
kitschy and funny. And it's like, no, you're just lame, dude.
Yeah.
Being a Proud Boy isn't as cheap as it looks. There are plane tickets to rallies across the country, hotel rooms. There are medical bills after all the aggro, marching, and shouting leads to the seemingly inevitable fisticuffs.
Thank God Antifa doesn't have to do
tactical
any of
vests, radios, helmets, Proud Boy hats, Proud Boy
I didn't
scarves,
know we sold radios.
and tasteful home decor. There's White Claw. Like, a lot of White Claw.
White Claw! White Claw! Mango White Claw!
And then there are the legal
Don't
fees,
undermine your
including
point, because
defense
Enrique
attorneys
actually is
for more
funny
than
as
2
shit
dozen
right there.
alleged members and associates of the Proud Boys charged with crimes related to the January 6th siege on the Capitol.
Yeah, lots of black and yellow right there.
I don't see any black and
Their
yellow.
only legal battle. The Proud Boys also picked a fight with one of the oldest black churches in D.C. The whole thing started last December during a so-called Million MAGA March protesting the election
So-called,
results.
that's the name of it.
It turns out
motherfucker.
putting million in your event's name doesn't guarantee turnout, which was estimated in the thousands. Still, it was a rough day in D.C. There were fights, 4 stabbings, and 33 arrests.
Who got
and the
stabbed,
Proud Boys
motherfucker?
were there in droves. At least 2 churches had their Black Lives Matter signs torn down that day, and videos showed the Proud Boys doing it. Here they are burning a BLM banner stolen from Asbury United Methodist,
Oh, it's
and
the
here they
worst
are
day in
outside
American
Metropolitan AME. In January, that 149-year-old church filed a civil lawsuit accusing the group of committing acts of terror and saying the vandalism, quote, amounted to a new and dangerous chapter in the long and terrible history of white supremacist mob violence targeting black houses of worship. Lawsuits have proven successful against the far right before. The KKK was ordered to fork over $2.5 million in 2008
We're just
to a
like the
teenager who was
KKK.
beaten up by Klan members. In 2019, Andrew Anglin, founder of the neo-Nazi website The Daily Stormer, got slapped with a $14 million judgment after a Jewish family accused him of publishing their personal information online, triggering a troll storm. Metropolitan AME's lawsuit is seeking compensation for the property and emotional damage allegedly caused by the Proud Boys, naming multiple defendants.
With this lawsuit, we are making clear that we will not allow the Proud Boys to carry out mob violence with impunity.
One defendant is a Texas company called Proud Boys International, but it might be a dead end. The company was set up by a lawyer who now claims he's had nothing to do with the Proud Boys in 2 years, and that the company is defunct and has no assets. But the church has questioned the lawyer's story, pointing out that he's owned the Proud Boys US trademark since 2018 and only terminated a licensing deal with the Proud Boys leadership to use the trademark in February. Another defendant is very publicly connected to the Proud Boys. This guy.
White supremacist. Right there.
That's Henry Enrique Tarrio, the group's chairman. Tarrio
Enrique.
says that because
No one
the
calls
Proud
him
Boys
Henry.
aren't
Literally
a legal
nobody.
entity, they can't be sued. And he told us that if the church lawyers try to go after his personal assets, he'd be, quote, happy to drag his balls across their face in court. But getting
Once again,
ballsy
Enrique wins.
might be a bad idea, especially if the gang's notoriety and involvement in the Capitol riot inspires the judge to try and teach them a lesson. If that happens, legal experts say that going after Tarrio's money would be relatively straightforward. But it could also empower the church to take a big next step, figuring out how to collect through an investigation backed up by the court's subpoena power. There are a couple ways that could go down. One is that the church's lawyers could identify any of the 8 John Doe Proud Boys who are also named in the suit. And if they're found liable, the assets of those people could become the church's assets. While that would require some tricky legal maneuvering, the stakes are huge. It could unravel the inner workings of the high-profile gang and reveal how the group funds its operations. And there may be a lot to find. Which is where one of my colleagues at Vice News, Tess Owen, enters the picture. Talk to me, Tess.
I tracked down business records linking prominent Proud Boys to a network of companies in Florida and beyond. There are lucrative crowdfunding operations and at least one online store selling Proud Boys branded merch.
Oh
This web
no.
of businesses surrounding the Proud Boys offers a glimpse into their side hustles, short-lived dreams, and business relationships past and present.
They've hawked everything from protein powder to gun-themed t-shirts. There's the 1776 shop, an online marketplace. It sells a $200 InfoWars battle horn for when you're vastly outnumbered by Antifa. album art for
buy
a
the
Proud
Battle
Boy
Horn.
anthem, Antifa hose, and caps featuring popular
Great
Proud
song.
Boy slogans like "Fuck around and find out," "Proud of your boy," or "Right Wing Death Squad." Speaking of merch, if you're really into Roger Stone, I've got good news. He has his own section on the shop's site. And for just
thank
$200,
God,
the
because I
site
can
will
tune 'em
send
up.
you your very own personalized voicemail.
Hi, this is Roger Stone, and you've reached Enrique Terrio. He can't come to the phone right now because he's probably too busy fighting for freedom.
There are even more odd
Hilarious.
connections to the group. There's the confusingly named Daiquiri Brothers, a company registered by the founder of the Proud Boys Hawaii chapter, Nick Ox. Does it sell daiquiris? Are brothers making the daiquiris? Or are they sold only to brothers?
They're so
Or has it
humorless,
got
they
nothing
don't
to do
even
with
get a
delicious
joke
fruity frozen drinks?
when it's in their face.
Then there's Fat Enzo, run by West Palm Beach Proud Boy Robert Picarillo, aka
I
Bobby
know
Pins,
him.
which prints stylized images of Italian-American mobsters in t-shirts with Hunter S. Thompson slogans. There's even Murder the
Fucking
Media,
A.
a loosely organized Proud Boy-affiliated news crew producing podcast and YouTube content whose name was scrawled on the Capitol building on January 6th. These days, a lot of Proud Boy activity has involved crowdfunding large amounts of cash in short amounts of time to pay for legal fees. Tario, for example, raised over $80,000 through the Christian fundraising site Give, Send, Go after he was arrested on January 4th on his way
Yeah, 'cause
into
you keep
Washington,
suing
D.C.
him.
on a warrant related to the banner burning incident at the Asbury Church. The cops claim they also found oversized gun magazines in his bag. Tario pleaded not guilty to all charges. The moment police released him, he got served with the legal papers for the Metropolitan AME lawsuit. So, how will this legal battle end? Well, the church has already nailed down one key victory. Proud Boys International didn't show up in court, so the company lost by default. And that might let the church's lawyers begin peeling back the onion. For now, the church's lawyers are trying to identify the names of the John Doe Proud Boys, with an eye towards slotting them into the suit. And we don't know how far the judge would go in punishing the group, or how far the church would go in trying to collect. Tario missed his April 30th deadline to hire a lawyer and respond in court, but he told the Washington Times the lawsuit is, quote, frivolous and ridiculous. But if the penalty is big, and the church goes for it, well, the threat of nailing down a large claim could force even the proudest boys to keep their heads down and start watching out for the collection agency. The church might end up owning a bunch of stuff that used to belong to the Proud Boys. Hell, maybe they'll score themselves a new daiquiri stand.
Ooh,
Wait.
hilarious.
Take your videos.
Mobsters with... What was he fucking
All I
saying?
heard was fatenzo.com to buy your fucking awesome
Easily
merch.
changed.
It's just kind of weird, though. Mobsters with Hunter S. Thompson quotes. That's really not what Fat Enzo is at all. I mean, but what the
Do
fuck?
you have mobsters with Fat Enzo quotes on your fucking...
No.
Then what the fuck is that?
I don't know what that is, man. That's just that's the story of my life. What the fuck are they talking about?
Well, also...
And
what
they
the
use
fuck
my
do you
full name and all the shit. Like, what the fuck?
If I come out with a fucking company about, you know, whatever, I love fucking soda.com with soda fucking t-shirts and stuff. If you're suing Pepsi, does that mean I have to pay up too? Like, because we found a couple Proud Boys did something and we're going to sue them over it. So everyone who knows that person now has to fucking give. And by the way, they act like having an online shop is this. Can you believe these jerk-offs and how nefarious they are? It's like, does anyone not, besides me, does anyone not have an online shop anymore? Like, everybody sells a t-shirt. Everybody sells, you know, merch and, hey, look, buy my hat. You'll support me, whatever. What? Like, I don't understand what was so, like, weird. These weird guys with the wacky music. Hey, they sell everything at their shop. They have t-shirts and hats. Oh, goodness. We better... Oh, Antifa doesn't. They need to buy plane tickets. Yeah, you know how we buy plane tickets? We have jobs, and we take the money we make from those jobs and purchase a fucking plane ticket, as opposed to Antifa, who does crowdsource all their shit. When Enrique gets sued, it becomes something that's in the public interest to defend him because he becomes a symbol because of what he represents. So yes, give Enrique money to fight a lawsuit in DC where they're going to try and railroad him. Why wouldn't you? Like, that's not cyber begging. That's not just give Enrique money because he's being Enrique. And Enrique runs how many fucking businesses? So, okay, like, I don't understand what that has to do with suing the Proud Boys is like saying we're going to sue the Goths. Like, we're suing the mods and the goths next week because two mods got into a fight with two goths at our club. So we're going to sue all goth people.
I think that this is like an economic RICO act they're going to use on us. I mean, look we're two dumb Italians talking to each other. That's what they're going to do. They're going to RICO act us. Do you see that when you made that mention earlier, when you were going off about how we're just sitting here having this conversation, and you said that, and I thought, oh shit, that's right. They mentioned my name in that Vice thing. It's like, it sounds ridiculous how they put me in there. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Hey, they plugged you.
Yeah, they plugged me.
Because here's the thing. That little dork at fucking Vice needs to make a certain amount of videos every week or month or whatever. So this is the thing. Even though it's going nowhere, I don't think this is going to go anywhere with this lawsuit of like, we're going to sue the Proud Boys as an entity because we don't have like Stark Tower in fucking New York. Like, it's literally little collections of fucking people, and they're going, well, they sued the Klan, and it's like, we're not the Klan, motherfucker. And we didn't do anything as like a group to let's go and do a thing. And they go, well, we arrested 6 Proud Boys at the Capitol. It's like, yeah, 6 out of 500 fucking people? Sounds like we were pretty much not there. It sounds like it was mostly peaceful to me. And by the way, what did those 6 guys do individually? Did they break stuff? Did they fight a cop? I want to know, because I don't think I've heard anything like that. But, could be wrong, could come out in court. I just don't think so. And I haven't heard that the Proud Boys, they kept saying they led it. And it's like, I don't understand what they think they're going to get out of this by saying like, well, they have all different shops and they sell all sorts of, yeah, we sell stuff the same way the Mets sell stuff, the same way, anyone, if you're a fucking punk, you print up a t-shirt, Punk's not dead or something like that. You don't play goofy music behind that and go, the punks even have t-shirts. Yeah.
Or like the Hells Angels.
Or the Hells Angels, for that matter, and that's the thing. They don't go after biker gangs and terrorists the way they go after this men's club that threatened them so much because
a gang. They call this a gang.
Yes, we're definitely a gang, apparently. Like, no allegedly or anything. They're a gang. What are they? A gang. It's like, well, why don't you take 1% of coverage like this and apply it to Islam?
I mean, listen, we got tattoos, right? We got tattoos, and they beat us in. I mean, it's a gang.
Oh, I was beaten in. Yeah, I'm a Latin king as well now. I'm a member of the Crips, MS-13. I'm the leader of MS. Like, Jesus Christ, they act like they've never seen anything like this, and while cities burn every single day from Antifa riots, they act like, can you believe they burnt a sign that said Black Lives Matter? It's like, all right, you know what? Technically, it's a crime. You should probably pay a fine or something like that. Whatever, I get it. But you haven't done anything about like them burning down courthouses. Like, you haven't done anything yet about Antifa, and by the way, I really resent when they mention 4 people were stabbed at the Million MAGA March. Yeah, who were those people? Oh, yeah, they were conservatives and Proud Boys who were stabbed by who? Your people, motherfucker, Vice. Antifa, the people who like your video like it's fucking hot, are the motherfuckers who did all the stabbing, but they act like because we exist, well, that's why stabbings happen. Because they're people that we can't control ourselves. We have to stab them. So that's their fault for being there to be stabbed. Like, what? Like, and I don't know what that was. Was that supposed to be journalism? Was that...
I don't know what it is, Paul. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. I did a podcast earlier today, too. And so, you know what I'm going to bid you adieu, Paul? Let's see.
Oh, my God.
The cure for bad speech is better speech, Paul, by the way.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, don't
I think we should talk more.
No censoring. That's stupid. No kicking people off of all these social media platforms. Let's create a Bitcoin style, platform that we should definitely
Proudcoin.com. Yeah.
Oh my God, you and I are going to create Proudcoin. Why did you have
By
to
the
say
way,
it first?
watch Proudcoin becomes a thing next week, and then I go, I was on your show.
No. Paul, dude, we'll get my cousin in on this. He knows everything about all of this currency stuff, this cryptocurrency. We'll invent our own. Are you ready? Do you want to create a currency? Oh my God. Are you down?
I'm down.
Either that.
Down. Let's do Proudcoin.
Or I'm gonna roll with this unless you do it. We're gonna
go for it, man. You go for it, and then when you're like driving around on a yacht called the SS fucking Paul,
I'll say Paul came up with that. He said it first.
Apparently I just take all this credit for shit that I never did, and I'm not involved with fucking anybody. So that's the lesson where I don't number two for this one and that one. I'm just out there grabbing at credit and claiming things, and it's like, sure, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching the Wednesday night, actually Thursday morning stream.
Can I do my plugs?
Spoomanji. Yeah, your plugs. Dude,
go to Censor TV, use the promo code Graves, watch Radio Deadly, always comment on the website, tell us what you think of the show, who you want to see on. You could also reach Michael at radiodeadly@gmail.com if you have any questions you want him to answer. You could follow Michael on Twitter at Radio Deadly on Twitter, The Real Michael Graves on Instagram, Official Michael Graves on Parler, and of course, if you have some time left over, you can follow my account, Paul Bazile Quotes, at Bazile Paul on Twitter.
Yes, and if you're in the market for custom T-shirts, check out fatenzo.com. That's what we do. We do custom T-shirts. We don't really make the whatever they said.
Mafia Hunter Thompson T-shirt. That's the one I want.
Sounds
I'm
pretty good.
For that.
It's we call them pseudo-intellectual party shirts, but you can check out fatenzo.shop for Perry's and Proud Boy swag. Check out proudenzo.com. I'm Bobby Pickles, and I've had an outstanding time with you tonight. And
thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you very much. Please listen. I appreciate you more for liking and sharing this podcast. There's a 20-year-old nerd sitting in the back room at Google somewhere with cum-crusted pants, and he's deciding who wins or loses in life because he learned how to code while living in his mommy's basement. So we need to go against that. We need to go against that, guys. Please. And like and share this. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. And hasta luego, motherfuckers.
Lord light.
He always says, that's me. With that look on his face, he'll talk about anything. Outstanding. Tattoos, t-shirts, politics.